Hello and welcome everybody back to the Rocketship podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Gissy, and today we are going to talk about accountability. Okay, so when we're going to talk about accountability, man, that's one of those subjects that most people really don't like to talk about. For the most part, it's because you're figuring out if you are succeeding or failing, or if you're actually managing your business properly, right? At the end of the day, when you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, you're in the financial professional business, maybe you're also like a real estate broker or whatever that it may be. At the end of the day, you are accountable for your business to grow or not. And I realize that most people are running into the worlds of what if or only if. I like to say only if. If only I would write the perfect financial plan, everybody would come to me. If only I would have the right steakhouse, then everybody would come to that dinner. If only the right marketing piece went out, then I would have more of an audience than I ever had before. If only I can get more people into my office, or they'd see how awesome my lobby is with the big sign that we have with our logo on it, then they'll come in and be a client. If only they could see how awesome I am and how cool, and how knowledgeable I am about the business, then maybe they'll become clients. Yeah, all those things are great, but what are you doing to get that message out? And that's really what we're talking about. And what you really have to figure out, especially when it comes to your marketing, is what is your priority, and what are your priorities, and what are you trying to focus on? Now, we touched upon in the first episode a little bit about branding. We'll get into that at another time. But the accountability is, what is working and what is not working. Are you doing anything? Let's just start there. For first and foremost, are you doing any marketing whatsoever? So the real question is, what are you doing? And there are many books out there. I happen to have one called Dominate Digital, a how-to guide for financial professionals. No plug intended, or maybe I did. But the real thing is, you could do all kinds of marketing. You could go out there and get some flyers and go ahead and go down the street. If you were with Edward Jones, and I don't know if they still do this today. I would like to actually know. Maybe if somebody could leave me a comment and let me know if they're still working for Edward Jones, but they used to knock on doors. I tried that when I was going through the interview process a long time ago. I thought I was going to get shot in the San Fernando Valley, not to mention it was the summer and I was wearing a suit and walking around. Maybe they thought I was Jehovah's Witness or something. I don't know, but it was a very difficult challenge. I ended up doing it because I forced myself every single day to go out there and knock on doors. But that's a way of doing it. You could spend a lot of money in publications and newspapers. You can do the old thing where you go hang out in different clubs and organizations. You can do those networking clubs where you give referrals. There's all kinds of things you could be doing, but I can guarantee you one of the things you're not doing is you're not doing digital marketing properly. And, what I mean by that is you might be doing some things on where you're posting things once in a while, but you're not posting nearly enough to get the attention that you actually want in order to bring people in. Let me give you this as a scenario. So we all know referrals are the best way of attracting new clients, and they're the easiest to close. So-and-so referred them over. They're already a client of yours. And next thing you know, they're calling you. You're not even doing your normal sales process. You're just kind of assuming that it's already done. If those of you that do the normal sales process with the referrals, that's great. More power to you. But I can tell you, I know the majority of advisors don't do that. They'll end up doing something a little different, because they just assume the close, right? What if your digital marketing efforts would be a warm lead magnet for you, right? What if your digital marketing efforts would be a lead magnet for you, and it acts as if your referral network? And you may be sitting there thinking that it can't, but it definitely can be. And the name of the game is you got to produce content, and you got to produce content that makes them realize you're a person and not a robot. And I'm not just talking about the AI that's available, in the marketplace today. I'm talking about literally understanding that you are a human being and you have, different interest, and you might talk about different subjects once in a while. You don't know what's really going to grab their attention, and you don't know what's going to resonate with people. Um, I used to do things in my office when people came in. I'd have the American flag in the background. I'd have pictures of the family. I'd have different books on the bookshelf. A couple different inspirational quotes and pictures. Everything that was in the office when I had an office was there for a reason. Plants, even the placement of plants, the colors that were in the office, the wall color, everything played a role when somebody would come in. And it was because you don't know what they'll relate to. College degree on the wall, different accreditations. Like they may see something, they say, "Oh, you know what? I recognize that, and therefore I'm trustworthy, or this person is gaining trust with me." Right. So you don't know what's going to work on social media, and the barrier to entry has never been lower than it is right now. And what I mean by that is, it actually used to be a heck of a lot harder to do this stuff in the past. I actually got away from it, and I should have continued on, but I used to do some social media early on. I'm talking like 2015, 2016, 2017, and I got some success out of it, but it was a lot of work. And I was waking up at 4 a.m. and I was posting things online every single day for about an hour. It was it was my morning routine. My morning routine is actually not that far off from then now, but it is my morning routine. But what I mean by that barrier of entry is, it could literally just be you're on 4 or 5 different social medias and you post the same thing. Like maybe you just make a quick 30-second video and you're just saying, "Hey, read this in the paper today. Thought it was interesting." And it might be something financial if you're in the financial space. If you're in real estate, maybe you say, "Hey, saw this listing, just picked it up, thought it was kind of neat." I mean, it doesn't have to be long, but you're just putting content out there. I'm not talking about, doing a dance on TikTok and, doing food reviews. And hey, if that's what you want to do and you want to have a section on your YouTube that talks about your food reviews, that could work. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm a big proponent of, hey, try a little bit of everything, because you don't exactly know what's gonna work out there. And then you get data back and you get to understand that. But the real reason why you're not doing this and getting back to the accountability is that digital marketing is not a priority for you right now. Your priority right now might be you're worried about the best financial model to put your clients in, or the best insurance product to put your clients in, or how to lower their taxes. And these are all important things. I'm not downplaying that they're not important, but when it comes to prospecting and getting, more people in the door, you might, a lot of advisors, they keep going back to their same clients. "All right, tell me about your friends. Give me somebody that's just like you. Here's a free pass. Come to my dinner seminar." And that's cool to do. But, what about the new people? And put some priority on getting some new people out there. What if instead of tell me your friends, just, "Hey, you know what? And this is, you're going to have to check with your compliance departments, because we actually just did a workshop on this. But what if you got them to do a review?" And you can have your clients do reviews for you online. You just have to disclose that it's a review and that they're either being compensated or not being compensated. It's really simple. "Hey, look, here's my social media. If you choose to, please like some of the post, or please comment if you choose to." You can say things like that. You don't have to force somebody's arm, but doing that will actually help engagement, and engagement is the name of the game when it comes to social media. Like I said, it's not a priority for you right now, because if you were, then it wouldn't be that 95 to 98% of the people out there aren't doing this. And the attention on these media, these mediums right now is so large and huge, and the demographics are constantly shifting. What used to be Facebook was good, then it got bad for a while. Now it's good again. YouTube seems to be the place where you could get the most attention. Now, you may not. What I mean by digital marketing is not a priority for you. Maybe you do want to make it a priority, but you're a little nervous. If you're not okay with doing this, if you're not okay with being on camera, you don't have to be on camera, but you can do a podcast, or you can at least do the audio version. If that's not your jam, then you can just write. And if you want to write, then you could pick a social media medium to do that. And if you don't even want to do any of that, there are a bunch of services out there that you could even hire, and they'll start posting some of the social media for you. Now, I will argue that I think that's a good foundation, but that's not enough to get you to stand out from others. And we can talk about that at another time. But I think there's some good companies out there. There's some that are just doing an okay job, and there's some that are doing a bad job out there like that. But nothing's going to be more authentic and true than if you're doing it yourself. It's your voice and it's your name. But you can do things to help, propel the content out there. So, just talking about accountability, moving on to marketing and marketing teams and people in your marketing team. I'm finding that those that have been in the business for a long period of time are having a really tough time with this digital marketing stuff. You have to understand it yourself in order to know if you can hold your marketing person or your marketing team that you're outsourcing to accountable. And that's why I'm encouraging you as an owner to try some of this. Actually open up an account and try putting on some Facebook posts and try doing some shorts on Facebook, some shorts on YouTube, a video on YouTube. Try writing in a blog, putting that on your website, and putting it on LinkedIn. Even try a TikTok. I know that's a people are like, hey, let's not get on TikTok. It's going to be banned in the US. Great. Well, I'll use it until it's banned. Why not? Because right now, if there are eyeballs there, why would I want to use it? So you got to understand the different channels. But when you understand some of this stuff yourself, and when you start, you don't even have to be good at it, but you just need to have a fundamental understanding. Then you're going to know if the marketing company you're working with is full of crap or not, right? And a lot of marketing companies and organizations will say, well, it's hard to measure, what we do. We're building brand awareness. That's BS. That's more BS today than it ever was in the history of humans. Because there are so many stats, there's so much data now available to us that, show me the engagement, show me what you've done, show me how many, views this is getting. And let's see, they can tweak things like, okay, so we got so many views here. Is this good organic traffic? Now, do understand this, organic traffic does take time to work. And you don't know what video is going to go viral or not. You could be your very first video that goes viral. It could be your 1,000th video that goes viral. And it may take you a long time for all that to happen. But the bottom line is there are stats and you can tweak things in order to make your marketing better. So if you're having people that are in marketing companies and they're saying too hard to judge and you're paying us, thousands of dollars a month for us to just make something look pretty, that's not holding them accountable. I would say, get the figures for them. Let them sit down with you on a weekly basis and say, here's what we've done. Here's what engagement we've gotten out of people. Cause that's really the name of the game. It's engagement now. It's less about the likes. It's less about the followers. It's more about the engagement. Here's how we're getting engagement. Here's what we're doing. Here are the stats. Here's the growth on your eyeballs, right? Like if they could prove those things, then that's good. That would be a good company to keep around as long as everything's being effective. But if they can't, then the marketing team that you have or the person that you have is not being effective, and they're just trying to give you the runaround, and they're just trying to tell you that, that they're building your brand, but there are no results. Like I don't understand in today's world how you don't just try things and just keep trying things and trying things and trying things, because it's constantly changing. So it's like the pure definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing over and over again like that you've done in the past, and you can't anymore. You just can't. So, you have to try certain things. Your same video that works on, let's say YouTube may not work on TikTok, or may work better on Instagram. The reality is you don't know which channel, which medium, which video, like none of that stuff is really going to, amount to anything if you don't try. Right. So start learning those stats. It goes back to when I was doing dinner seminars. And I just remember I would tweak things along the process, and then the process would change. Meaning I would start with the flyers. And if the flyers got a good number of people in the door, then I knew that flyer was good. Right. So what's the next step? How many people would actually show up? I'm sorry, the flyer would get people to register. How many people would then show up? Step 2. So if that number wasn't that good, I could tweak the process a little bit. I could make people show up a little bit more. And then I would say, from there, how many people would sign up to work with me? And you have all kinds of tweaks in there, whether it was the presentation, whether it was the opening, whether it was the closing, whether it was the engagement, whether it was somebody going around and picking up surveys, somebody going around and scheduling right there on the spot. I would get my numbers in my actual seminar to grow that way. Then it became, what's the numbers from the seminar on into becoming or just coming in to see me, right? So my point is, you could tweak these processes all along the way. And then what would happen? You'd get 6 months into it, and next thing you know, it's not working. Fire doesn't work. Now that the market is saturated because, 6 other advisors in your area are all doing the same tax workshop, right? And now that there's 6 people mailing out the same flyer because everybody works at the same, IMO, or everybody's doing the same presentation. So now you got to mail out, instead of 10,000 flyers, you're mailing out or mailers, you're mailing out 15,000 mailers, and then it works again for a month. And the next thing you know, it's not working. So my point is, you could have measured your marketing at that point. You could have held different stages. You could have held yourself accountable for doing that and figuring out what's working and what's not working. You can also start seeing the trends. So when it comes to social media, there's nothing in digital marketing. There's nothing different about that. You can measure everything, but then you're going to start seeing, okay, well, this is starting to get on fire. What I would do, I'd start shifting all my eggs and putting them in that basket for the time being. And I'd start, lowering my basket over here, but I wouldn't go away from that basket because that basket could fly back up again, So again, marketing has to be a priority for you. Your marketing company or the person you're working with needs to be a priority for you. And one of the challenges I've noticed with especially people in the finance business is they don't understand, either A, they don't understand what the marketing company can really do for them. If they don't have any social proof, they haven't done it before. They're not really getting digital. They're just like, hey, let's put some ads and see what happens. We'll get. They're more focused on the creativity of the ad rather than the results, right? Like, so they're so worried about the fonts, they're so worried about the color, rather than just implementing it. Like that to me is like, what? I don't care. Let me throw up a 30-second video on YouTube and then just post it, right? Like, I don't care what this lighting's like. I don't care if I'm on the right camera. I just want to get it going, and then I could track some results. Because you know what? Sometimes some of those very basic videos, or some of the very basic lighting, or crappy lighting, nobody's wearing makeup, all that crap, might actually be the one that works, right? You don't know. And then as you do things, you can get better. Like for me, just get action going. The barrier of entry, like I said, is so darn low right now that you could do almost anything just to get started. So just to give everybody kind of a heads up, right here, we're in mid-April. I hadn't worked on my YouTube channel in a few years, but now I've done a few podcasts, the finance, fitness, and positivity podcast. I've had 3 guests on, and I've created over 50 videos out of those 3 podcasts. They're hour long. Now I'm doing this one, and this is a 30 minutes, daily for financial professionals, just giving you, tips, tricks, hacks, all that fun stuff. So now I'm creating another 5 videos tops, but those are going to be podcasts, and these can be cut up. Like, they're going to get better over time, right? Like the lighting will get better. I actually did buy a light. I did have a camera that's over here on the another side of me here. So now I'm having a 2-camera effect, because I'm going to start learning. I'm going to get data back on what's working and what's not working, right? It doesn't mean, the first video didn't have an intro or an outro, and I'm not even going to fix it. I'm just going to leave it there. As things move on, I'll have more intro outros, we'll have more guests on. Like, these are things that you can do that aren't that hard. So holding yourself accountable. Now, moving on to time. Let's talk about time management. And it's funny. When it comes to time management, what's really interesting is most advisors, and I've fallen into this trap, they're just like, hey, I don't have enough time. So I have a really simple fix for you to just get started and to do this. And you don't have to wake up early. You don't have to do what I do, go downstairs, get in the gym, come up with a bunch of crazy ideas, and then start recording, early morning or late evening, whatever you want to do. What if, this is a pretty big, ask, what if instead of 60-minute meetings, you did 50-minute meetings and you actually stuck to them? Meaning, no matter what, you're going to do a 50-minute meeting. If you're talking to a vendor, guess what? The vendor's there to sell you their services. You don't have to be on the phone or the Zoom call with them for an hour. Like, hey guys, I got 50 minutes. Got to cut it off. I have a hard stop at 10 to the hour. Client meetings. What if you just said, hey, you know what? These are 50 minutes. And they're like, hey, 50 minutes. Just like, yeah, 10 minutes. I need to get ready for the next meeting. And, whatever. It's 50 minutes. Plus it saves you time, saves me time. Good. We get it all in. If you did that in an 8-hour day, you'd have 80 minutes back, right? 80 minutes. Is it going to take you 80 minutes? That's over an hour, right? Is it going to take you 80 minutes to record something. No, it could take you 30 seconds. Could take you 15 seconds, could take you, 10 seconds. It doesn't really matter. If you work 10-hour days, then great. You got 100 minutes back, right? Like it's an hour and a half, hour, 40 minutes on top of that. Sorry, there's the math for everybody, but you know what I'm talking about. You can have time. You can get that back. It's not that difficult. You just have to adjust your schedule accordingly. And it's all about making it a priority for yourself. And if it's not a priority for yourself, then you're not going to get the results. You can't hold yourself accountable for it. You have to be able to put the time in, and you have to be able to adjust things in order to do this. This isn't that hard. This is actually, one thing that I've decided to do is it's fun. And if I know a lot of the financial advisors out there, you love talking. So, I'm doing things that I really, really enjoy at this point. So it's talking to other financial advisors, talking to other insurance agents, talking to people in real estate, it's talking to lawyers, it's talking to CPAs and saying, hey, look, you too can put this stuff together and you can be successful with it. It's just about putting in the time and making sure that you can do this. Now, the last thing I really want to talk about, and I'm looking at my time here and just making sure that I get this in under 30 minutes today. Last thing I want to talk about is do you do it yourself or do you outsource it to a marketing company or to other, outside parties? I touched on this earlier in this podcast, but I would say I would start with yourself. Again, going back to, you need to learn how to do this. You need to learn how to do a post. You need to just understand the functionalities of it. Once that starts becoming good, then you can outsource and save yourself a lot of time and money. You could outsource certain things like editing. Actually in the beginning, you may not even want to edit. That might be something you do outsource, but at least just getting some of this stuff that you understand how to make a post. You get all your disclaimers, like get all your ducks in a row, get your pages built out, get them optimized for SEO, get your personal branded website built out, get all the other things done that you get a good fundamental understanding. And then, while you're doing all this, you're going to start getting that baseline numbers. You're going to start understanding like, okay, well, are people view it? Even if you have 0 views on a video, it doesn't matter, because 2 years from now, that video might pick up and do 1,000 or plus. To give you an example, when I started, and I actually am disappointed in myself for taking this video off. Different story for a different day, but I had a video and it was called Understanding Financial Planning by the Cubing Method. And so I made this video and had some cool cubes and was talking about a financial plan. And here's this box. And if you have a cube here and a cube here, kind of actually similar to the blockchain story, right? For those that understand blockchain, we'll talk about that another day. But the video sat around dormant like for almost 6 months. It was just like, 10, 20 views. Then all of a sudden it got up to like, I logged in and for some reason it had like 1,500 views. And the next thing you know, it had like 10,000 views. And I got up to like almost 40,000 views of this cubing method because it started gaining momentum and started leading up in the search engines. So you don't know what's going to happen with some of the videos and content that you put out there. And you never, somebody gets a hold of it and they repost it for you. Next thing you know, that video goes viral and now you have a bunch of people looking for you to connect. It's the same reason why people do TV. It's the same reason why people do radio. You're just trying to get your name out there and connect. You don't know who's out there listening or what's going to resonate, but it's just going to happen. But kind of rounding this up for today, just judging by the time here, if you're not holding yourself accountable for your digital marketing, your digital marketing efforts, then you're not doing yourself the service that you really deserve. You're not looking at your numbers. You're not actually putting any effort in. You're not going to get any results. It's like with anything else. It's like going to the gym. You got to do it. You have to. You may not like it. You may despise it, but it's healthy for you. You should do it, right? It's the same thing here. Like with digital marketing, you just got to start figuring some of this stuff out. There's plenty of resources out there. You can email me and I could help guide you in the right direction. But overall, just make yourself accountable for doing a little bit every single day. And eventually it will pay off in a big, big way. And it may take you 1 or 2 years, but are you going to be better off just by doing it 2 years from now? Like, we're playing the long game as advisors. We're not here to just, make $1 million and retire, because the majority of us, once you start making good money as an advisor, guess what you start doing? You actually start doing more. Next thing you know, you're hiring on other sub-advisors and you're building out a big RIA firm. And next thing you know, you're a big TAMP. I mean, that's just kind of the evolution of what goes on with the majority of people that get good at this industry, right? You're on stage and you're giving tips and all that fun stuff. So you got to do a little bit every day. You got to hold yourself accountable for doing it. You got to start understanding your numbers. You got to start understanding how this stuff ties together. You have to understand, if you're with the right marketing team or not. And if you're not, and you're not getting the results you want, and the communication's there, and they're not able to produce results for you, and they're not able to show you results, then you definitely need to look into a different marketing team. That's for sure. And you may not come from your RIA, may not come from your marketing organization. It may be an outside organization. So, don't close yourself in a box. So you got to hold yourself accountable. You got to make sure that you're doing something every single day. We've talked about this, and I'm going to continue to talk about it. So that's it for me today. Thank you. This is the Joseph Gissy Rocketship podcast. Looking forward to talking to you guys about the next one. Take care.